Hey guys, welcome to another episode of me playing Katawa Shoujo. And yes, let's start. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks right the other huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes out to the hallway. Me and the paint can follow since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shiznei and Misha gone, so we two leave toward the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears, in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He nods gorgeously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively, because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deep into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long with your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages, or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye out on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. You come to see me if something happens. Alright? So how are you? Everything fine? I gave up and dropped the camera to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my bicycle can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done it lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's not true for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you are taking up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. A stupid grin disappears from his face for a second and comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, Would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by my shoulder without asking for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yes. Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studies me for a moment and shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart, thingy? Are you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. I feel like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, from my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Ren keeps looking at me for a while longer and neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with a disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come and go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of a painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces, legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacked of what seems to be paint cans arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead, and it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base structure whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas, but there are a lot of people with hands. Her reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student basis, special properties, has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if this is something I need to figure out, and then figure out that before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of a statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this? Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into a minefield. A political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it now. I can get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us have anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it would look like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to add. When shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I don't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I want to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Winch sure is quick to recruit my help. That's what she's in a. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm really not sure if I can be any help though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems like those people who have some? Cerebral palsy maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Hard thinking has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a white brush between her toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from one can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that meld quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied. Their instructions are obscure at best. I'd have a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing colors like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints and crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of the other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us say a word for the longest time. And even though short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to conserve words and breathe breath and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I haven't. I honestly wouldn't mind staying here for all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite giving an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they are going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. Eventually, I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempt from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I would have some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. Okay, I think that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yes, see you next time. Bye bye.